Question 688. If you were compiling an album called Now That's What I Call Shit Pop Music, what are some of the tracks you'd include?
Everything for the last 5 years. It's a big album.
Yeah.
Do you not like any Ed Sheeran?
No.
Really?
Oh, I do like Galway Girl.
I would.
I can't think of any real band that's come out in the last 5-10 years that's been worth my time listening to.
I would. I'd definitely put the back catalogue of Justin Bieber in there.
Oh, yeah. Everything ever.
Barring one song, all of Nickelback's back catalogue, and yeah, it's so much to. Quite a lot of U2 stuff as well, I
I'm completely
think.
ignorant of contemporary music, so I don't know who the hell I could even offer. I have no idea. Although Justin Bieber, I know enough to know that that's right up there.
Yeah.
I'm with Jenny. I also don't listen to contemporary music. And it's funny because Chris, atheist pastor, recently did a thing where he's putting together a video where he wanted to get American reactions to Aussie music. Mm-hmm. And he played one song, and when it was done, I said, "Now you understand why I don't listen to music."
There you go. How about? Yeah, I can't really put it in there though because I haven't listened to it. But Australian pop music, I suppose.
So Australian pop music is good. That comes over here.
Good, though,
No,
yeah.
it actually was extremely good. The problem is that I get so emotional over it that it's too much for me. Because I started to cry just listening to the song.
That's interesting.
When you say Australian pop music, I just keep thinking of trained kangaroos. with mandolins.
Jennifer Hughes says Coldplay. Jen's Little Corner says Friday. Is that who did Friday? Friday. Rebecca Black. Nerdy says.
I definitely think the vast majority of U2's back catalogue would go in as well.
Yeah. Nerdy says Kylie, which I argued with him about.
Carly Rae Jepsen?
No. Kylie Minogue. She's awesome. Very short. Santi says BTS. Who's BTS?
Oh, that's K-pop. They're the most popular of the K-pop bands.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Is it good that I've never heard of them?
What the fuck is K-pop?
Korean pop.
Oh god.
Just wait, they'll introduce you to J-pop one day.
K-pop. I can't stand any of it.
Can you guess what J-pop is?
Japanese pop. I think whilst we're on sort of stuff like that blooming whilst we're on sort of that sort of styles of music like J-pop, K-pop, that bloody Gangnam Style needs to go in there.
I do like it. It's catchy. I mean, it's not great, but it's catchy.
I think that's K-pop, but
I think it is K-pop. Santi says Taylor Swift.
No.
Right. No. Jennifer Hughes says Train. I think that's a band. Ike says, comes in strong, Coldplay, Nickelback, U2, 98% of hip-hop. Or even more country from today. Sadly, lots of rock and metal. Santi says Machine Gun Kelly, Kanye West. Jen says, fuck you, Jeff.
and was that about the Aussie music?
Santi says Australia has music? Question mark.
We assume they have music. We're still not entirely sure that they actually exist.
Nerdy says auto-tuned rap music. Plasterish, I don't know what that is. Ike starts singing.
Everything these days is auto-tuned. They don't pick anybody these days because on their merits of how they can sing. They pick people that on their merits of how they look, how sellable they are. Can we actually make a product out of this? They don't take anybody with a fucking ounce of skill, and they just auto-tune everything. It's shite. It's all shit.
To be fair, they've auto-tuned everything since the 80s.
Yes, but it's fucking shit now.
Now they just use it to make it sound different.
Actually, there's a lot of shit from the 80s I'd put in there, to be honest, as well.
There's a lot of shit all the time, is the point. It's not at the end of the day, music is no worse than it was now. It's just that you only remember the good things, most of the good things.
Yeah.
It's a filter.
I still miss John Prine.
They release songs now. Wasn't fucking some stupid girl band released a fucking song called Hurricane or Tornado? There's fucking songs out there about umbrellas. There's no real fucking actual effort put into writing a song. Some of these songs that come out now are literally 10 lines long, and they just fucking repeat it.
And I suppose this would kind of qualify as hip hop in a way, but what would be the absolute poster child for this question? And I put them on the blimmin' I put them on the album cover. Anything done by the Insane Clown Posse. I mean, for goodness sake, their records don't get released; they escape.
You take someone like one of the greatest Motorhead. How would you try and sell Motorhead to an executive now? Look at Lemmy, listen to them. It's never going to happen.
Yeah,
and the world might be a better place for it.
You're fucking wrong.
But you got to. But again, you got a lot of the time. You got to put it in context to the things that come along. Like when heavy metal got big in the sort of late 70s, early 80s, or whatever. There's a lot. Okay, Motorhead was a good band, but there was a lot of crap bands that was just immediately signed up because it's like, people are into metal right now. We'll just sign whatever. I mean,
but this is what happened with Britpop.
Oh yeah. There's so much crap that was signed up, like when Oasis got big and Blur got big,
Jennifer got it. She hit the nail on the head. You're old when you start complaining about current music.
Yes. I said yesterday or the day before. I need a little guy that walks out and shouts, "Get off my lawn."
I was doing that. But here's the thing: I was doing that at like 21 at least.
Well, I think lots of people were. I mean, this is the thing. I grew up on 70s music.
Yes, so did I.
Even though I was an 80s person, because that's my music my parents listened to. So what I actually remember of the 80s music is a lot less. I only remember the odd songs from the 80s, and then the 90s was my actual music. The awesomeness of music that I got in the 90s. That everyone is critical of. I have missed so much stuff. ICP. Jen says ICP are absolute crap.
Yeah. Who said that? I totally agree with
Jen.
them. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
That's that Insane Clown Posse.
Here's what's interesting, okay? That's right, I've just given the way the discussion went. What is interesting is there has been studies on the complexity of music. Okay, and they can categorically state now that music is less complex than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And that's been determined. That means it's worse. Not 100% sure on how they determined that, but they've determined that's worse. The other thing, the thing that seemed to break music was the mid 80s, mid to late 80s. The mid to late 80s, but in the UK, it may have been slightly offset in the States, but I doubt it based on the information. Up until then, they wrote music for everyone. They had no clue. They were just writing music that they thought would be popular. What they actually worked out in the 80s was that there is only actually one group of people that buy music. And that is girls aged 12 to 18. Almost all music is bought by girls 12 to 18. That's not to say other people don't.
40 CD case would fucking disagree with you.
No, it's not to say other people don't buy music, but if you want to put out an album, if it doesn't appeal to that age group,
yeah,
it's not going to be that successful, and that's the problem.
That's the big market. That's the demographic they're aiming for.
Yes. And since that information was gleaned, was worked out, the music industry changed.
Yeah.
Because you didn't need to.
Even in genres like heavy metal, I've noticed that sort of thing with the sort of bands that get pushed and signed. That you know, I mean, even though I quite like some of their music, I mean, I know for a fact that bands like Slipknot have got a massive appeal to girls at that age.
Mm.
Okay, mainly girls who are a bit outside the normal whatever, but you know. Bands like that's what they're marketed to.
What I find funny though,
I actually love Slipknot second
I
album.
do.
Yeah, it's not to say other people aren't going to enjoy the music. It's just that's now the primary focus. What I find funny is that it took them until the 80s to work this out. You'd have thought they'd have worked this out with Elvis and the Beatles.
Yeah, and
when over and over again, it's just screaming girls that were there that went to see them. That's all there is footage of.
Except the girls were a little older then.
They were, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were no.
And also, at that point, okay, I'm going to be really. This is not me trying to be sexist because I genuinely don't know. Were they in full control of their finances then?
No. Well, what?
As in, who was dictating what? Who was dictating who was able to buy and what they were able to buy on at that point in time? At that point in time. I'm really worried about when I'm pitching here because I don't really know when the Beatles and Elvis were. They were just before me.
Society has moved along. You know, everything has been sexualized an awful lot more and aimed at an awful smaller crowd. So you've girls, you know, maturing earlier than what they would have then, and more of an appeal to who the person is and how I want them and how the market actually pushes them. Everything is sex appeal. You know, it's can we push this person, not the music.
Mm. I'm disturbed at the number of people, do you know what? I have. The number of pop stars that are told to hide their relationships. To hide that they're married, to hide that they are that they are in a relationship. Because it's much better to sell them if they're not. If they're available.
Yeah. I remember that. That's like they did that. They actually did that gag in the Simpsons. Do you remember that time when that barbershop quartet they did that actually got signed, and they were the guy was telling Homer to keep quiet about his marriage to Marge. He said you're gonna have lots of young girls who want to have sex with you. You know, we want them to at least think that they can. And Homer's rather dumbly says, "Well, I'm sure if I explain it to Marge that way, it won't be a problem." No, wrong.
Well, Jerry Lee Lewis's career was destroyed because he took his wife when he went to the UK on tour. And his wife was his 14-year-old cousin.
Oh.
And that did not go over in the UK at all. And they kept trying to tell him, no, you can't take your wife there. And he said, I'm taking her anyway. And it destroyed him.
Yeah, that did not go over well, not gone over well here.
No. I didn't know
Especially in that day and age.
No.
What's the question?
Shit music.
If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.